The black widow or redback spider from the genus Lectrodectus flaunts her danger with the vibrant red markings on her dark black abdomen. She kills her prey by injecting a complex neurotoxic venom through sharp fangs before wrapping in silk and sucking out their liquefied insides. Hi, I'm Mishti Max, and I'm here to share this eye makeup inspired by the black widow, or as we have in Australia, the redback spider. If you want to see how I created the matching lip art, click on the card or check the description box. This eye makeup could also work for a spider queen for Halloween, a she-devil, demoness, or any wicked costume that has red and black in it. The first thing I did was prime my eyes with Too Faced Shadow Insurance to make sure the makeup will stay on all night. I grabbed 2 pieces of tape from my heel tape dispenser and removed some of the stickiness by pressing them on the back of my hand a couple of times and proceeded to line them up with my lower lash line towards the end of my eyebrow, making sure they are even for a nice sharp edge. Then I picked up my Makeup Geek gel eyeliner in Poison, and with my magic finger I dabbed it on the center of my eyelid and blended the edges of the product out with a clean finger and a cotton bud, building up the center as a nice concentrated red. For a black base, I used my Inglot Matte Gel Eyeliner in number 77 and applied that with my index finger to the outer and inner corners of my eyelid. Then I used the Real Techniques Base Shadow Brush to buff that out into the crease, hugging the red base, and also used a clean finger to blend the black towards the center of the lid. From my Urban Decay Naked 3 palette, I chose the Shadow Strange with the Sigma E39 Buff and Blend brush to apply to my brow bone and heavily into the inner crease. Back into Naked 3, I chose Limit with the brush that comes in the palette and dusted that into my crease, along the edge of the black base and also up towards the inner part of my eyebrow to deepen that area. This is my first transition shade, and I'm laying down a base for the next eyeshadow called Nuna, which is pretty much going in the same place, but not blown out as much as Limit. I want to deepen up the crease and inner socket hollow, also giving a bit of a sickly pink taupe tone that will peek out above the black eyeshadow I will apply later. I'm taking the Sugarpill Burning Heart palette and using the Sigma E57 Firm Shader brush to pack on the eyeshadow Love Plus on the center of my eyelids, concentrating it over the red base. Then I'm taking the eyeshadow Bulletproof, also from Sugarpill, and after flipping over that same brush, I'm patting the black eyeshadow on my inner and outer corners of my eyelids. Going back to the matte red eyeshadow, I'm layering that over the edges of the black, then flipping the brush and adding a bit more black eyeshadow and going back and forth till the blend looks decent. Now to join the black through the crease, I'm using the Sigma E47 Shader Crease brush, and I'm starting with just a touch of black on the tip of the pointed brush. I'm blending the matte black eyeshadow into the crease, buffing out the lid and creating more of a winged eye shape along the tape. I'm also employing the use of the Transition Shade brush to keep the top of that black soft, as I add more black towards the brow to make this look more dramatic, and so you can still see the black eyeshadow when my eyes are open. I'm making sure you can still see the transition shade over the black and softening the edges, using a mix of Limit and Nuna with that Naked 3 brush, also increasing the inner socket depth as the darkness of the overall makeup escalates. To keep the brow bone clean, I'm adding some more Strange with the Buff and Blend brush and smoothing that down towards the crease to keep the flow. And I'm adding more Love Plus with the same shader brush to brighten up the center of the lid as it got muddled up with blending and a bit of fallout. Then I'm taking this amazing bright red glitter from Lit Cosmetics called Firecracker in their solid size 3, and I'm using the Lit Clearly Liquid Glitter base dabbed out onto the back of my hand like so. Then I'm dampening a Body Shop eyeshadow brush, then dipping it into the glitter and applying that to the center of my lids. When there is less glitter on my brush, I'm fading that towards the black, so the glitter doesn't just stop with a harsh edge, and I'm pressing the eyeshadow brush with a touch of black eyeshadow on it over the edges to help. I'm grabbing the Urban Decay 24/7 liquid eyeline in Perversion and adding a thin line across my lash line to hide the false lash band to come. Then I'm using the black gel eyeliner and a pointed cotton bud to coat my tight line and inner corner. And I also ran that along my waterline and smudged it heavily into my lower lash line, blending that out with a clean cotton bud. I buffed some black eyeshadow over the top of that to blend it out using that small pointed crease brush, and then I removed the tape and cleaned up any fallout or shadow that was in the wrong place. I used my finger to make sure the wings were even and going in the right direction, as well as lining up the lower lash line with the wing with a touch of black eyeshadow. I again took a mix of Limit and Nuna on that stiff blending brush to blow out my lower lash line rather far down, and blending out the lower edge with some Strange, also getting some extreme smokage down there. I made sure the black darkness went all the way in towards my inner corner and was blended out well. I curled my lashes and applied some MAC Giga Black Lash Mascara to my top lashes and plenty to the bottom. At this point, I decided to elongate the eyeshadow up towards my temples using the transition shades from Urban Decay, and I added some more black to the crease, taking it closer to my brow, adapting the makeup for the extra dramatic direction it was going in, and I also added some more limited Nuna above the crease and nose bridge area. I wanted to use these Sugarpill false lashes called Charlotte, which have a kind of spiderweb design, so I measured them to my eye and decided to cut the last loop off the web so they fit. I applied those as usual with tweezers, and also pushed up the false lashes so they curved upwards and sat where I wanted them. And I think these false lashes are perfect for a spider-inspired makeup, not to mention they look mega awesome. I quickly ran some liquid eyeliner to obscure the glue and false lash band. I moisturized my skin with MAC strobe cream to give a glow reminiscent of dew on the spider web. I did my normal brows with Benefit Browsings and Gimme Brow, and my foundation went on the same as usual too, but I didn't add concealer all the way up to my dark circles to leave more space for that sickly pink taupe shade. After powdering my face, I really got stuck into that beginning of a nose contour and really went to town buffing in a mix of Limit and Nuna from the start of my brows and down the sides of my nose, and I even added extra under the eyes and along the heavily extended wing, buffing it over my face makeup and blending it in well. I also took the black shadow on the pointed crease brush up and far out as well. Then I used the Real Techniques contour brush to take a Limit under my cheekbones, on my temples and around my forehead to contour my face. I also buffed that lightly along the eyeshadow wing. And to deepen all that up, I used the shade Nuna and kept that closer to the center of the contoured area, where I wanted the shadow to be the deepest. I'm going pretty heavy for this makeup look to give a severe and angular appearance to the face. To lighten up the skin and begin highlighting, I'm using the matte white eyeshadow called Taco from the Sugarpill Sweetheart palette with the Sigma F40 large angled brush, placing that on the high points and the very center of my face, also using it to blend the contour out a bit. Then for the pearlescent glow like that of the spider's silk, I'm using the Dose of Colors Baked Highlighter in Pearl Dust with my Hakuhodo S113 highlight brush and applying that to the very tops of my cheekbones. Then I decided to go for an eerie glow all over and take that down my nose, on my cupid's bow, my forehead and on my chin too, to get lots more highlight. Now I'm taking the Inglot Matte Gel Eyeliner in number 77, adding a drop of their Duraline fluid and using the Sigma E11 eyeliner brush to mix a more fluid gel consistency so I can create the spiderweb details on my left cheek. I'm using the outer corner of my eye as the center of my web and trying to draw thin curved lines radiating from that point. Then I'm making fine looped connections between those lines to make the spider web, and I'm also adding one more spoke for them to join up with. You don't have to draw an even amount of spiderweb silk since the redback spider doesn't create a perfect web herself. Then going back to the Pearl Dust highlighter, I'm using a fine lip brush to add some shine along the spider web. I didn't want this to be a solid black web, and I thought adding some highlight on one side of each line would look cool and give an interestingly silky appearance. I went back in with the gel eyeliner to darken up certain areas that got covered up too much, and if you're unhappy with any lines, you can try and touch up with a cotton bud like I did, but make sure you don't rub off too much of the makeup underneath. I don't have a perfectly steady hand, and this turned out pretty well for my first spiderweb. If you're able to use a fine brush in light pressure, you should be fine. However, I was a little heavy-handed, and I found it hard to work under the eye where the skin moves a lot. But you can place this spiderweb anywhere you like. Now for the 3D fun part. I have this red jeweled spider from the Born Pretty store, and I'm using Prozade adhesive on the end of a toothpick to cover his little feet, and then I'm grabbing him with tweezers and placing him at the edge of the web. You could also use false eyelash glue or spirit gum if you wanted. And that's it for the eyes. I've been saving the little spider charms for quite a while, and I'm excited to finally play with them. I really dig this red firecracker lit glitter, and it looks magnificent over the black eyeshadow. I've also been hanging out since my Mad Max tutorial to create a really dramatic makeup, and this hit the spot nicely with asymmetry and super winged out eyes. If you'd like to see how I did the matching lip art, check out the card above or the description box. You can find all the details for the products used in this tutorial on my blog linked in the description box with affiliate links too. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this dramatic makeup tutorial. Why don't you leave a comment below telling me what you're going to be for Halloween, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos. Also check out my band and podcast on iTunes.
Click the little boxes if you want to see